Hey guys, Garrett McLaughlin here, and in this video I want to talk about getting out of your shoes, right? If you're incorporating some kind of strength training program, some injury reduction, injury prevention program, whatever you want to call it, it's important to get out of your running shoes as you do that, or find a more beneficial type of shoe that will fit that situation. If we think about the traditional shoe these days, we have this cushion, varying stack heights, which is the difference from kind of where the ground is to the foot and how much cushion is put into that shoe. Differential or drop, how high the heel is to the toe. We have motion control and stability shoes that are going to control the stability and position of the foot. When it comes to strength training, in my opinion, our goal is to put you in a position where you're directly improving those deficiencies that you have in terms of stability, in terms of strength, in terms of overall movement competency. So I like to say get out of your shoes as much as possible, and let's kind of see what's going on there. So a couple of reasons we want to get out of the shoe is just to, first and foremost, let's see how the foot is moving, right? So if we're getting into different exercises like maybe a step up, what is your foot doing? You can see as this foot comes up here, am I shifting? Am I coming, is my knee and my foot collapsing into the arch? What is happening at my foot as I go through these different movements? If we can understand what's happening more so by seeing that foot as you're moving rather than hiding it and concealing it within the shoe, we can then add specific exercises to address that. We want good function of our feet. This is super important when it comes to running because that's that connection with the ground and a lot of that the information coming from the bottom of the foot, this sensory information on how our body is positioned to send to that nervous system and brain and then to send signals back down to correct our position. So a lot of times when we're wearing these very cushioning shoes, these shoes that aren't allowing, again, big rockers on them, aren't allowing good contact with the foot, with the floor, we tend to run into some of these other issues when it comes to overall, again, neuromuscular activation, sensory input, and motor control. Obviously, depending on your foot specifically, you might be someone with a history of injuries, with bunions, with limited toe mobility, with history of Achilles or calf issues, you might need to go into a shoe specifically for you. But when it comes to strength training, it's usually a position when if we're doing so properly, we're not dropping weights, we're not around anything we're going to stub or hurt the toes, we can get out of our shoes a little bit more. Okay, so outside of just looking and seeing what your foot is doing, we can help improve this intrinsic strength of the foot. Okay, so we're not in a surface that's cushiony, that our foot is kind of moving around a little bit in. We're firm in the ground. We can work on really spreading those toes, pushing the big toe into the ground, establishing this foot tripod, which is the base of the big toe, base of the fifth toe, and the heel. We have this triangular shape that gives us much of our support and stability throughout the foot, rather than being in and really constricted inside the shoe. And then from a stability standpoint, because like I mentioned, a lot of that sensory input comes from the bottom of the foot up, that's what we're receiving these signals to see, okay, how is the body positioned in space from more of a proprioceptive and awareness standpoint. We can overall, again, address what we're doing. Are we shifting too far? Do we need to focus on pushing that big toe down? Are we collapsing in here? Do we need to shift our weight or work on better positioning the knee and the hip over the foot? There are a lot of different ways we can go about that, but it doesn't matter which exercise you're doing, whether it's a step up, whether it's a traditional squat, looking to see a lot of people as I come down really overly sit back in the hips, you can see the toes come off the ground. There is a split squat. What is that foot doing in space? So I highly recommend get out of your shoes a little bit more as you incorporate some of these strength training and movements within your program. Look to see what your foot is doing, and then think about, hey, how can I improve overall stability, control, and strength of my foot? Because I think that will go a long way as we continue to, again, wear different shoes with a lot of the cushion, a lot of the stability and things built into it, just to overall preserve the function of our feet. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out, and I hope you enjoyed this video.